In today's video from Cartech Zone, we're diving deep into something massive, powerful, and truly unmatched on the world stage. This is the Ultimate USA Warship Review 2025. We're talking about the ships that define oceans, the steel giants that project power thousands of miles away from American shores, and the technological beasts that shape the future of naval warfare. These aren't just ships, they're floating cities, air bases, missile platforms, and deterrence machines all in one. And today, we're breaking down their real performance, their real capability, and the real cost behind maintaining and building these titans. When people hear the term, U.S. Navy warship, they immediately think of aircraft carriers. And yes, in 2025, the U.S. Navy still holds the crown for the most advanced carriers ever built. The Ford-class carriers, including CVN-78, CVN-79, and the upcoming CVN-80 and CVN-81, represent the absolute peak of maritime engineering. They're larger than any warship on Earth, capable of launching aircraft faster, recovering jets smoother, and generating more power than entire cities. These carriers cost between $13 and $15 billion each, depending on upgrades and tech packages. And that's before counting operational cost, crew salaries, maintenance, and aircraft on board. On average, a Ford-class carrier costs around $1.2 billion per year just to operate. But what you get for that price is unmatched. The Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, known as EMALS, completely changes the game. It allows aircraft to launch with smoother acceleration, less stress on airframes, and far more control over takeoff power. This means more sorties per day and more flexibility during combat operations. In 2025, EMALS performance is finally reaching its peak stability, after years of testing, fine-tuning, and software updates. The recovery system, AUGUR Advanced Arresting Gear, has also matured, giving the Navy one of the most reliable jet recovery systems ever created. But aircraft carriers aren't the only warships that matter. The U.S. Navy has a massive lineup of destroyers, cruisers, frigates, submarines, and support vessels that form the backbone of American sea power. In 2025, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers continue to evolve with the Flight III upgrades. These destroyers cost about $2.2 billion each and come loaded with the AN/SPY-6 radar system, one of the most advanced radars in maritime history. It allows these ships to track ballistic missiles, stealth aircraft, drones, hypersonic threats, and swarms simultaneously. Their firepower is huge. 96 vertical launch system cells that can hold Tomahawks, SM-6s, SM-3s, ESSMs, and anti-submarine rockets. When we look at performance, the Flight III Burkes are basically multi-role war machines. They can hunt submarines, shoot down aircraft, defend carriers from incoming threats, fire cruise missiles at land targets, and even support Marines with long-range weapons. Their engines produce a combined 100,000 horsepower, pushing this 9,800-ton giant through the ocean at over 30 knots. And for price, the Navy spends millions each year just on maintenance and upgrades for one destroyer. But again, the payoff is dominance. Another major ship that defines 2025 naval capability is the Virginia-class submarine. These silent hunters cost around $3.5 billion each and are considered some of the quietest submarines ever built. The Block B version is even more advanced, coming with the Virginia Payload Module, which increases missile capacity from 12 to 40. That is a huge jump in firepower for a submarine designed to sneak up on enemy waters undetected. The Virginia class can strike land targets, fire torpedoes at enemy submarines, deploy special forces, perform intelligence missions, and disappear into the deep ocean without being detected for months. The performance is unmatched because of their stealth coating, extremely low noise signature, and advanced sonar suites. And then there's the new Constellation-class frigate, designed to be the Navy's next-generation escort ship. This warship costs around $1.2 billion each and fills the gap between destroyers and littoral combat ships. The design focuses heavily on anti-submarine warfare, air defense, and surface combat. In 2025, construction on the first few hulls is progressing steadily. These frigates will bring more flexibility to ocean operations, and because they're cheaper than destroyers, the Navy can buy more of them to increase presence in the Pacific and the Atlantic. Back to aircraft carriers, which sit at the top of naval power. When we talk about their price, people often underestimate just how expensive the entire system is. Not only does the carrier cost billions, but each F/A-18 Super Hornet costs around $70 million. Each F-35C jet costs nearly $110 million. The E-2D Hawkeye early warning aircraft cost around $200 million. You need helicopters, drones, weapons, logistics, crew housing, training, fuel, and more. A fully loaded carrier strike group can cost between $20 and $30 billion total if you include everything on board and the ships that protect it, like destroyers, submarines, and supply ships. But what makes the U.S. Navy truly unmatched in 2025 is the network behind these warships. Every ship communicates with satellites, drones, sensor networks, underwater systems, and aircraft far beyond the horizon. Data is shared instantly. Threats are detected before they even fully appear on radar. Real-time analysis runs through advanced AI systems that assist human decision-making, making responses faster, more accurate, and more lethal. The performance of U.S. warships in 2025 is not just about speed or firepower. It's about how quickly they can adapt, how fast they can launch aircraft, how deeply they can penetrate contested waters, and how they can operate anywhere in the world without depending on foreign bases. The U.S. Navy has bases in Japan, Guam, Italy, Bahrain, and many other places. This global reach means American warships can appear anywhere, and fast. When we talk about price, the U.S. Navy's total budget for 2025 is massive, over $250 billion. A huge chunk of that goes toward maintaining warships, upgrading radars, refitting engines, purchasing new missiles, and training sailors. You might wonder whether these costs are worth it. But when you look at power projection, deterrence, global stability, and freedom of navigation, these warships are irreplaceable. They protect trade routes, respond to crises, assist in humanitarian missions, prevent conflicts, and keep rival militaries in check. Now let's talk about performance during real operations. A warship isn't judged only by specifications but by its ability to perform under stress. During 2025 exercises, U.S. carriers demonstrated faster sortie generation rates compared to previous years. This means they can launch more aircraft in less time, critical during air combat or when responding to sudden threats. Destroyers equipped with new radars showed improved detection range and better accuracy against cruise missiles and drones. The Navy is also testing hypersonic weapons on Zumwalt-class destroyers and future submarine platforms, which will take firepower to a new level. Another area where the Navy excels is electronic warfare. Modern warships can jam radar, confuse incoming missiles, and disguise their own signatures. Even if an enemy fires a missile, the Navy has systems like Aegis, CRAM, and ESSM that can intercept threats. This layered defense makes the U.S. Carrier Strike Group one of the hardest targets in the world to attack. Yet, the real magic behind these warships is the human element. Thousands of sailors, engineers, pilots, mechanics, and technicians keep everything running. A carrier alone can carry over 4,500 personnel. The dedication, training, and expertise of the U.S. Navy workforce turn these machines into functional floating fortresses. When it comes to fuel consumption, these warships burn through millions of gallons, except for nuclear carriers, which use reactors that last decades. But destroyers, frigates, and support ships rely heavily on fuel. This is why the Navy invests in supply ships that accompany fleets across the world. They refuel at sea, allowing operations to continue non-stop. The cost is huge, but the capability is unmatched. In 2025, the Navy is also focusing on drone integration. Carrier-launched drones will eventually perform refueling, strike missions, reconnaissance, and even electronic warfare. This reduces risk to pilots and increases reach. The MQ-25 Stingray drone is one step toward a fully integrated drone fleet. Another major change is the modernization of amphibious ships. The America-class amphibious assault ships now support F-35B jets, making them mini-carriers in their own right. These ships cost around $3.8 billion each and carry marines, vehicles, aircraft, and landing craft. Their ability to project force from sea to land gives the U.S. a major advantage in contested areas. As we wrap up this detailed breakdown, one thing is clear: U.S. warships in 2025 remain the gold standard for naval power. The price is massive, the technology is complex, and the maintenance demands are heavy. But the result is absolute global dominance at sea. No other navy comes close in terms of aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, or worldwide presence. Whether we're talking about performance, reliability, firepower, or strategic importance, these warships continue to define maritime supremacy. And that is the complete USA Warship Review 2025, covering performance, power, and pricing in full detail. If you want a follow-up video comparing US warships with China's or Russia's fleets, or a breakdown of individual ships like CVN-81, DDG-125, or the Virginia Block V, just tell me in the comments.